Every day you cross paths with hundreds of men and forget all of them in seconds. They exist in the periphery of your vision, then vanish forever from your memory. But have you noticed how some men enter a room and everyone stops to look? The conversation dims, heads turn. It is not about beauty, it is not about height or physical attributes, it is about presence. Most men are invisible because they choose to be ordinary. They follow the same patterns, wear the same styles, and present themselves without intention. Nobody notices the ordinary, nobody respects the ordinary, nobody pays more for the ordinary, and most critically, nobody remembers the ordinary. When Brad Pitt portrayed Tyler Durden in Fight Club, he was not just a character. He was a visual manifesto, a man who refused to be just another face in the crowd. His appearance was not chaotic, it was strategic. Every element communicated something without saying a word. And when he spoke, everyone listened. Do you think this is just fiction? Think about entrepreneur Steve Jobs, a man who basically wore the same outfit every day. Jeans, black t-shirt, and sneakers. Seems simple, right? Wrong. Those t-shirts cost hundreds of dollars. Those jeans were perfectly cut. His look did not scream, it whispered to those who knew how to listen. I do not need to impress you. Andrei, this is the first rule of the visual code of men who command respect, strategic authenticity. It is not about following trends, it is about creating your own gravity. It means understanding who you are at your core and then deliberately showcasing that through your appearance. Not in a haphazard way, but with precision and intent. The most commanding men in any room are not trying to be someone else. They are the most refined version of themselves. Let us be honest. Have you ever entered an important meeting feeling invisible? Everyone talks, but nobody really listens to what you say. I lived through this, and I discovered that 80% of the reason was in my visual code. I was dressing to ask for permission, not to command attention. Ordinary men think elegance is complicated, that they need hundreds of different pieces. It is exactly the opposite. Powerful men have fewer clothes, but each piece is impeccable. Each piece tells a story. Look at the case of David Beckham. Even when he wears something apparently simple like a white t-shirt and jeans, there is surgical precision in how everything fits. The discreet watch that costs more than most people's cars. The details are almost imperceptible, but they are all there, communicating power. When I began my journey in masculine elegance, I made the biggest possible mistake. I confused drawing attention with commanding respect. I wore loud colors, exaggerated accessories, designer logos plastered across my chest, all to be noticed. And I was noticed, yes. In the same way, a clown at a funeral is noticed. People saw me, but they did not respect me. They did not listen when I spoke. They remembered my clothes, not my words or ideas. True visual power does not shout. It controls the temperature of the room without saying a word. It does not demand attention through gimmicks. It earns attention through authority. Think of the difference between a politician who pounds his fist on a podium versus one who speaks softly and deliberately, making the audience lean in to hear every word. The first gets momentary attention. The second gets lasting influence. The second rule of the visual code of men who command respect: precision. Your clothes should fit your body as if they were sculpted on it. It does not matter if you are wearing a $15 t-shirt or a $15,000 suit. If it does not fit perfectly, you will look like a boy wearing his father's clothes. There is a reason why Italians have dominated the world of tailoring. For centuries, they understood that true elegance lies in proportion and fit, not in the price tag. A $1,000 perfectly fitted suit will always look better than a $10,000 poorly fitted suit. I have had clients who spent fortunes on clothes but looked completely ordinary. Why? Because they ignored the rule of precision. The sleeves ended in the wrong place. The pants were too long. The tie was too wide for the face. Small errors, big consequences. The third rule of the visual code of men who command respect: consistency. Ordinary men change their look every day, trying to keep up with trends like teenagers, desperate for acceptance. Men who command respect establish a signature look and perfect it over time. Think about Keanu Reeves. You can look at photos of him over the last 20 years and, although there are variations, there is an undeniable consistency. He found what works for him and refined it to perfection. This is not laziness, it is strategy. When you change your look drastically every day, you confuse people. They cannot categorize you. And the human brain hates what it cannot categorize. This does not mean wearing the same clothes every day. It means having a consistent visual language that communicates who you are. The fourth rule of the visual code is perhaps the most powerful, the rule of invisible details. Ordinary men save on things nobody sees. Cheap underwear, synthetic socks, supermarket hygiene products, mass-produced fragrances, bargain watches hidden under sleeves. They invest only in what others immediately notice. Men who command respect do exactly the opposite. They understand that true quality begins with what others cannot immediately see but can somehow sense. The foundation garments, the subtle texture of premium fabrics, the way a quality belt ages gracefully. These invisible details create an intangible aura of excellence that others perceive without understanding why. Did you know that a Princeton University study discovered that we take less than 7 seconds to form a first impression of someone, and that more than 55% of that impression is based purely on visual aspects? The details you think nobody notices are exactly what your subconscious registers. Are your shoes impeccably polished? Are your nails perfectly trimmed? Is your cologne unique, or do you smell like all the other men in the office? These invisible details are what separate ordinary men from extraordinary men. I had a client who was a brilliant executive but was always passed over for promotions. His mind was sharp, but his look said mediocre. In our first consultation, I noticed his white cotton socks worn with a navy blue suit. A small detail? Yes. A detail that screamed amateurism? Absolutely. After 3 months following the visual code I am sharing with you, he was promoted. The same ideas, the same hard work, but a look that commanded respect. The detail makes the man. The fifth rule of the visual code of men who command respect: quality over quantity. Ordinary men have closets full of mediocre clothes. Extraordinary men have few items, but each one is exceptional. You do not need to be rich to follow this rule. You need to be strategic. A single quality watch is better than 5 mediocre watches. A single pair of handcrafted shoes is better than 10 pairs of low quality. I remember when I visited the house of one of the most influential men in São Paulo. His closet was surprisingly small: 5 suits, 7 shirts, 3 pairs of shoes, 2 watches. Everything of the highest possible quality. Nothing superfluous, nothing to impress others, just the essentials executed to perfection. This brings me to the 6th rule of the visual code, the rule of contrast. Ordinary men dress to blend in. Extraordinary men dress to contrast. Not in obvious ways, but in strategic ways. In an environment where everyone wears navy suits, perhaps you choose a charcoal gray. In a casual environment where everyone wears printed t-shirts, perhaps you choose an impeccable white t-shirt. Contrast does not need to be loud to be powerful. I was fascinated when I studied the wardrobe of some of the most powerful men in the business world. They rarely wear flashy colors or radical styles. Instead, they master the art of subtle contrast. A discreet but extraordinary watch. A tie in a slightly different tone than expected. A cologne not found in any department store. I had a client who was always the most liked person in the office, but never the most respected. Everyone liked him, but nobody feared him. And sometimes to lead, you need a little healthy fear. His problem? He dressed to please, not to command. We implemented the contrast rule. In a work environment where everyone wore blue and grey, he started wearing black, not in a gothic or artistic way, but in a powerful and contained manner. In 6 weeks, his office dynamics changed completely. Same personality, same work, different look. Have you noticed how some men can wear casual clothes and still look completely in control? It is because they have mastered the 7th rule of the visual code, the rule of intention. Ordinary men put on clothes. Extraordinary men wear clothes with intention. Every element serves a purpose. Nothing is there by accident. Even when it seems casual, there was a conscious decision. When you see Jeff Bezos in a simple t-shirt, do not think he just grabbed something from the closet. That simplicity is intentional. That cut is precise. That color was chosen for a reason. The apparent casualness is, in fact, a strategic decision. I have an exercise that changes the lives of my followers, choosing each piece of clothing with intention for 30 days. Not putting on anything that does not communicate exactly the message you want to convey. At first, it seems laborious. After 2 weeks, it becomes natural. After a month, it becomes impossible to return to the ordinary mode. And here is a secret that few men will understand. People feel your intention even before they consciously process your appearance. When you dress with purpose, with clear intention, people respond to it instinctively. This is not mysticism. It is psychology. Human beings are remarkably adept at detecting authenticity and purpose. We evolved to recognize genuine confidence versus false bravado. The man who dresses with true intention moves differently. He carries himself with a quiet certainty. His clothes appear to belong on his body, not merely draped over it. And others detect these subtle signals before their conscious mind even registers what they are seeing. The 8th rule of the visual code of men who command respect, mastering the power of subtext. Clothes do not just exist, they communicate, they tell stories. And extraordinary men are masters at controlling this narrative. In ancient Rome, only senators could wear togas with a purple border. In imperial China, only the emperor could wear yellow. Throughout history, appearance has always been a language of power. This language has evolved, but never disappeared. Today, this language is more subtle but no less powerful. A Patek Philippe watch does not just show the time. It tells a story about tradition, heritage, and discreet success. A tailored suit does not just cover your body. It communicates attention to detail and self-control. What story is your look telling right now? Is it a story of someone who leads or someone who follows? Is it a story of excellence or mediocrity? Is it a story that deserves respect or one that asks for approval? I worked with a CEO who was losing control of his executive team. His problem was not competence, it was visual communication. He dressed in such an accessible, such an ordinary way that his appearance contradicted his position. His clothes said colleague when his position demanded leader. We adjusted his visual code to align with his position. No more friendly colors, but colors that communicated authority. No more comfortable and casual fabrics, but fabrics that conveyed structure and firmness. In 3 weeks, the dynamics of his meetings changed completely. The 9th rule of the visual code, refined authenticity. Ordinary men confuse being authentic with being sloppy. They use "this is how I am" as an excuse for mediocrity. Extraordinary men understand that true authenticity does not reject excellence, it embraces it. Being authentically you does not mean ignoring the rules of presentation. It means adapting these rules to your essence, your personality, your goals. Authenticity without refinement is just immaturity disguised as individuality. I have seen brilliant men sabotage their careers in the name of authenticity. They refused to play the game out of the visual code without realizing they were not being authentic. They were being stubborn. True authenticity has the humility to recognize that appearance matters. The 10th and final rule of the visual code of men who command respect, the rule of constant evolution. Ordinary men find a style and cling to it for decades, even when their bodies, their lives, and their circumstances change. Extraordinary men constantly evolve. This evolution is not about following trends. It is about continuous refinement. It's about looking critically at your visual style every 6 months and asking, does this still communicate who I am and where I want to go? What worked for you at 25 years old probably will not work at 40. What worked when you were an employee will not work when you are a leader. Evolution is not betrayal, it is intelligence. Now, let us be direct. Being well-dressed does not replace competence, integrity, or intelligence, but it is the gateway for these qualities to be recognized. It is the business card that determines whether people want to know more about you or prefer to move on. A Yale University study found that well-dressed men earn on average 20% more throughout their careers than equally qualified men with an ordinary appearance. This is not a detail. It is a powerful, competitive advantage. Have you ever wondered why some men less competent than you are promoted faster? Why do they close deals more easily? Why do they seem to obtain instant respect while you need to repeatedly prove your worth? The answer may be in the visual code. While you dress to fit in, they dress to lead. While you save on appearances, they invest in their image as they would invest in any other strategic asset. This is not a video about vanity. It is a video about strategy, about understanding that your appearance is not superficial. It is a powerful tool, a tool that can open doors, command respect, and create opportunities. I have seen men with extraordinary IQ being ignored in meetings. I have seen men with incredible vision lose investments. I have seen men with natural leadership passed over for promotions, not because they lacked substance, but because their packaging, their visual code, did not communicate their value. The good news? This code can be learned, it can be mastered, and it does not require fortunes, it requires strategy. Unlike natural height or facial symmetry, visual power is accessible to every man willing to study it, practice it, and live it. I have seen men transform their presence completely in a matter of months, not by spending thousands on designer items, but by understanding and applying these principles with ruthless consistency. The visual code is democratic that way. Available to anyone with the discipline to implement it. If you are tired of being just another face in the crowd, if you are tired of being an ordinary man when you know you were born to be extraordinary, subscribe to this channel right now. Activate the bell to not miss any video. Leave your like if you want to transform your elegance into power and success. You have just learned the 10 rules of the visual code of men who command respect. Strategic authenticity, precision, consistency, invisible details, quality over quantity, contrast, intention, mastery of subtext, refined authenticity, constant evolution. If you liked this video, leave in the comments. Visual respect. We declare war on sloppiness. Mediocrity is no longer an option. It is time to command the respect you deserve.